I think the question at hand is very important to the state of Texas. I think too many times we as Texans take for granted oil and gas, and we take for granted what the good Lord has given us in abundant supply. World War I, it was a Ranger Field. The American Museum has a letter that's from the European folks at that time saying it was a wave of oil that helped win World War I. Winston Churchill's famous quote after the Big Inch, Little Inch pipeline, World War II, it was a sea of oil from East Texas that helped win World War II. And at that time, we created a greatest society, the greatest superpower, the first superpower in world history. That is under attack right now in a lot of different directions. One of them using right now is energy. The head of Greenpeace at the 2021 World Economic Forum said specifically the great reset agenda they have, which is to reset the world agenda back to pre-World War II, where America is not the controlling force, has been advanced by over a decade, and now the target is energy. Every country that has oil is richer than every country that does not. Every richer country is cleaner than every country that does not have oil. So if you want to clean a country, have oil. And it's amazing how that's been subjugated to false narrative. And that's, let me speak this, the agenda says, how will these zero carbon agenda? Let me tell you real quickly, the zero carbon agenda, right now carbon, if you look, carbon dioxide is 0.0004% of the atmosphere. Of that, you ask how much of that is man-made. It's 3 to 6% of that is man-made. In other words, it is so minute how much CO2 is a part of the environment. I use the analogy from East Texas as a grasshopper passing wind in a hurricane. Okay, it makes absolutely no difference. And so what we're operating in, almost all of our major companies, our agenda, everywhere you read, is we're for a lower carbon future. Let me give you some quick statements that this is not settled science. You've got the founder of Greenpeace, former Greenpeace co-founder, Mr. Moore, Patrick Moore, says this whole idea is a total scam. The former Nobel Prize winner of 2022, John Clauser, said the popular narrative about climate science reflects a dangerous corruption of science that threatens the world economy and the well-being of billions of people. You have Ian Pilmer, who is one of the original scientists between Al Gore's 40 years ago founding of all this green movement. He says right now, I don't have opinions, I have facts. They're repeatable and validated. Fact number one, no one has ever proven that human emissions of carbon dioxide drive global warming. Alex Epstein, young man that I think some of us are familiar with, makes a very good point. The Green New Deal that would outlaw American fossil fuel won't stop global CO2 emissions from rising, but they will ruin America. And it goes on and on. There's a letter that just came out this past year. That's 1,600 scientists worldwide saying there is no climate catastrophe. It is a scam. And yet we are spending, why is our industry now lined up with carbon capture? I remember I have a photo in the information that I've left you on your desk is a photo of me and Rick Perry when he was Energy Secretary and Governor Abbott cutting a ribbon for Petronova down in Houston, Texas. Largest supplier of capturing carbon, putting in the ground, doing all the things that we're doing now. And we all were there for the great grand opening. 2 years, it was bankrupt. It's reopening. How? $2 trillion from the Inflation Reduction Act and others for carbon credits, and we are now financing that. How long do we have to sit back and understand that at least this is not settled science? So why are we spending $2 trillion and literally stopping the lives and direction of billions of people around this globe in Texas directly? Let me close with this. What's it going to harm Texans? Texans right now, all the rainy day fund, all the permanent school fund, all the higher education fund is from oil and gas in Texas. All the land commission dollars that come in on the land commission area, much of it's oil and gas. In fact, the University of Texas here in Austin, Texas, this past year, $10 million per month oil and gas revenue coming to their endowment fund. And so what happens when we stop this? We stop being Texas. 40% of our state economy is oil and gas, direct or indirect. So you ask me what happens. Let me give you the last point, methane, another example, CO2 methane, the new methane law. The new methane law is passed by the EPA that will go into effect. General Paxton has challenged that in court. But if it passes, we're going to lose the 80% of production in Texas is not from major oil companies, it's from independents. And we have what's called marginal wells, which feed dollars, revenue to communities, to retirees, and to all of our communities across the state. Over 10,000 wells will be closed. Almost 30% of our independent producers may go out of business if that methane rule passes. That's only 2. So I thank you for taking the time to discuss this important issue.
Thank you. Mr. Commissioner, if you would, please state your name for the record for the
Wayne Christian, Commissioner for the Railroad Commission of Texas.
Good deal. Thank you. Thank you.